Hello there, it's Ned Milburn, a Dartmouth, Nova Scotia area guitar builder and repairman. Right now I have a 1985 Ibanez Artist Super Edition on my bench. I just did a full fret dressing and recrowning and polishing and touched up the fingerboard. I cleaned up a whole bunch of marks that were there as artifacts from a former guitar tech who scraped it across this way and left a lot of horizontal scratches in the fingerboard. So I cleaned it up and got the guitar leveled. There was a hump here and a hump here in the frets, so I leveled that off. A guitar will never play well if its frets have a sine wave undulation in them. You'll never be able to set it up properly. And now what I want to show you guys all is how I string a guitar. There's a whole bunch of voodoo in stringing a guitar. There's too much voodoo. Please do not tie knots in your guitar strings up at the string posts. There's no need. It just makes it more difficult to remove strings, and it's solving a problem that isn't there. What we need to learn is maybe three things. Number one, how to cut the right length of guitar string. Number two, how to wrap it, or how to put a kink in it. And number three, how to wrap it. That's it. So I'm going to show you what I do. First of all, you want to look at the string post and see how much distance there is from the string post hole to the top of the nut. Okay? Here, it's medium. So what I'm going to do for my low E string, I'm going to cut approximately with these strings, or these string posts, 3 and 3 on each side, and they're relatively normally spaced. I'm going to take just shy of the full length of a string post, and I'm going to trim it. Then the next string, I'm going to take the A string, I have it, and a little tiny bit longer, so kind of just shy of the middle of the string post. The D string is thinner, so I pull it to here, and I hope you can see that on the video, and I grab it there, I pull that back so I can get a length measurement, and I'm going to cut it just longer than a string post. The G string, it is unwrapped. I'm going to grab that, pinch that, bring it here, and I'm going to cut it about a 1 1/4 string post lengths, or the distance between each string post. The B string, there we go, 1 1/4, should be fine, maybe a little bit longer. And then the E string, same thing, 1 1/4 is probably good on this guitar. So, next thing we do is I do it string by string. And I'm going to see if I can do this here so that the video can see it. I grab about the string post depth. Okay, right? So there, and just a little tiny touch longer. And so I grab the string and then I put a kink in it, past 90 degrees. Then I toss that into this string post hole, and I make certain to wrap it downwards. Okay, so I'm wrapping the string downwards, and you'll see now that the string is on the string post. It's wrapped neatly downwards. There's nothing poking out. I can rub my finger back and forth, and I'm not getting cut by the length of the string protruding from the string post. So that's the way you do it, and then we just repeat, rinse and repeat, and do it with every single string. Usually I bend them up towards me. That's just my thing. I'm holding it at a different angle because I'm trying to show it to the video. And there I hooked it in. If there's enough string length left over, you can wrap it once. Sometimes you'll wrap it twice on the smaller strings that you leave extra length on them. And then I'm just going to wrap it, ensuring that I don't overlap my wraps, and my wraps are going downwards. And making sure before I put some tension on the string that it's seated in the saddle down at the other end of the guitar. So that's 2 strings, and I'll just keep going. Maybe I won't talk so much, maybe I will, we'll see, but I usually get this done pretty quickly. As I'm doing this, there we go, 2 wraps around, making sure I wrap it downwards. So I was playing guitar for at least 12 years. I was studying guitar at university, and so I knew a lot about guitar, you could say. But I started working at a guitar shop in Toronto called Ring Music, and the boss there, so my good friend John LaRock, he said to me, "Ned, I know you've been playing guitar for years, and you know you've changed guitar strings before, so you know a lot, but this is how we changed guitar strings at Ring Music." And there, some of our notable clients were couple of my guitar heroes from when I was a kid. Bruce Coburn, who's an incredible guitar player, and what you hear on his recordings is, you know, only half of the guitar player. If you ever heard him play live, especially during certain phases, when he just peels out on lots of improvisation, he's really quite a guitar player. So we worked on his guitars, and Gordon Lightfoot, the venerable Gordon Lightfoot. I remember one of my favorite guitars I worked on by Gordon Lightfoot was it was a Gibson. It looked like a Gibson Hummingbird, but it was a small body 12 string, so it was smaller than a triple O body, if you know the Martin guitar bodies. And yeah, you'd call it a parlor guitar, 12 string, and it needed not quite a full-on restoration, but its nut was broken and its saddle was no good, and it needed its frets done nicely and all this sort of stuff. So let's call it a rejuvenation. I had the privilege to rejuvenate that guitar that was Gordon Lightfoot's, and that was one of the favorite guitars I worked on from that period. It was really a nice little guitar, and it was wonderful for me, who was still a quote-unquote kid. I was 26 or 27 years old at the time, to be able to work on one of my childhood idols' guitars and bring value into his life. That was really quite rewarding. And you can see now, I'm putting the last string on, the G string, ha ha ha, or we can just call it the third string. And anyhow, here we go. There's the guitar headstock. You have no pokey outies on all the strings. Boom, I can spin my fingers without fear of cutting my fingers, and without fear of having my clothes hook on. You know, sorry for grabbing my short sleeve of my t-shirt here. But you don't want to leave those too much length on the kink, because you'll get clothes caught on there and you'll pull threads out of your clothes. You'll get your finger caught on there, or your arm, or whatever. And please, please, please do not leave a Medusa at the headstock of your guitar. I call it a Medusa when people leave the ends of the guitar strings hanging out like this at all angles. And sadly, one of my friends, good friend from when I was a kid, he left his as a Medusa, and on stage, the lady who was singing next to him got one of those ends in her ear and punctured her eardrum as she was performing live performance. So there's good reasons to do strings this way. It's quick, it's efficient, it's effective. You don't need to worry about pulling the strings off, trying to untie these strings and poking your hands or scratching your guitar when you're trying to take the strings off. If you do the tie method, never tie your guitar strings other than classical guitar strings. So there you go. Just do it right once. Thanks. We'll see you next time. Like and follow and do all that fun stuff that people say on YouTube, okay? Like and follow for more. Thanks.